Hello. Okay. I know I keep saying this, but again, I'll try to be brief and try not to go on a tangent. Uh, okay. Two movies I kind of like to comparative to on kind of maybe not all fronts, but on most fronts is I just got done watching Lucy again after a long time, and I like to compare Lucy to Limitless, the movie, not the TV series. Now, they both have chemical interactions that cause people to um, have access to higher brain functions. Um, and they both go about different ways. Lucy's is, oh god, it's fundamentally right. I think is the best way to put it. It's the story, the narrative, the plot. It's all ham-fisted because much like in the midnight screenings review with Brad and Co. They said they rather disliked the fact that they were felt that they were being talked down to because not only do you watch the narrative on screen, it immediately cuts to um like a metaphor, like a thing, like when Scarlett Johansson's character Lucy gets her handcuffed to the to the briefcase. It's like cuts to a spider being caught in a web, and the spider a fly being caught in a web, and the spider coming over down and getting it. It's like that. Or also, oh yeah, and then it also cuts with a lion chasing down an elk or something like that, or a buck or a doe or whatever, a deer basically. So they said, yeah, it feels like we're being talked down to. So they feel really like intellectually insulted. Um, Now, Limitless doesn't do anything of the sort. It talks about concepts, it does referential concepts, but it does so because that's kind of the point. When he does that reference, when he talks about different things, because he show off his intellect. Remember, he's constantly showing off his intellect. He's more of a social creature as opposed to her, who is not a social creature. Lucy is not a social creature at all. In fact, she's losing her humanity as she's gaining more power. Uh, but when uh, Egden Morrow, Eddie Morrow, sorry, Eddie Morrow is socializing, he talks about overextending, and he says, "Well, why not? If you're such a great thing, and you're actually you're doing good. Why not just sit back and say I'm good and not extend anymore? Not don't need to conquer anymore. Have a nation just say we're good. Just kick back, have a beer. And he says, no, it's in human. He says he does say it in human nature is to overextend, to acquire more when you don't need to, which is basically what he does. It's basically not his downfall, but what his big stumbling block is. A lot of the problems that cause himself, because there was a couple of problems that arise, half his fault and half not, is when he gets in league with the gangsters because he says he wants to make money in a down market. This, remember, this is 2006, I believe, this is to take place. So yeah, this is the beginnings of the financial crash. So in the down market, he's only able to make a couple of grand after $50. So he gets in league to get like 100K, I believe, or something like that the from the loan shark, and then uh, makes tons of money off of that. But then the loan shark gets in on the action. So him trying to acquire more instead of just he says it's just not fast enough. I need this money now because he wants it now. He doesn't want to play the long game. He wants to play the short game. And that's what causes half his problems to bringing in the loan shark was because he couldn't wait and just build it up slowly. He had to have the cash now to make the investment to make a lot more cash in the near future. So yeah, it creates problems. So he falls or foilies befalls the very thing he was telling people at the party about was overextending. So he falls victim to that. As smart as he is, he doesn't see the problems he creates for himself. And that is the one thing people don't take into account, no matter how smart they are, is that you are your own worst enemy. You put up your own roadblocks through your own arrogance and your own short sightings. See, as smart as Eddie Morrow is, was probably one of the smartest people on the planet. He's not wise enough, much like not Danny DeVito, the other guy, his supposed mentor, keeps telling him, because you didn't, he has the wisdom enough to realize he didn't, um, what was it? He hasn't earned those powers, so he keeps flaunting them and giving them out like a magician at a party, you know, thinking he could just jump over it all, not realizing he hasn't done it enough to realize you can't. There's some obstacles you can't just leap over in a single bound, and those are the ones he puts there in his wake, carelessly thinking he can just, you know, overcome it later if it ever shows up, if anything becomes of it. So yeah, but in Lucy, she just becomes, you know, uber god. It's like she can overcome anything that she comes across because she literally becomes like a god at like 60 to 80%. It's like I'm not. She's basically unstoppable at that point. So it's like there's no real point of having tension. So they try to keep shoving in the tension with the Yakuza invading the university. Even though the cops in the background are forming a police line right behind them, and it's like no one's noticing the line of black cars and all the Yakuza arming themselves just like 20 feet away as the cops are pulling up in front of the university. It's a kind of bit of a silly shot, but apparently it's what was going on. But yeah, so storytelling wise, Limitless is a lot better because he doesn't become uber. Doesn't become an uber god. It shows that even as smart as you are still fallible. You're still human. You still make mistakes because he still chooses to do the wrong thing. He still, instead of going upstairs after the car ride when he gets the job, he goes on a walk. He says, "Ah, I'll go for a walk," and that causes so much problems for him. You know, it's like he doesn't learn his lessons until a little bit later than he should for someone who's so smart. So as much as I hate the detouring like subplot or whatever, before we're trying to get back to the main plot or something like that, where it bows out and comes back in again, much also like in Your Name and Star Wars: The Last Jedi or whatever, or The Force Awakens or whatever the fuck it is, the second one. Um, it has that stupid, up, out, and then back again. It's like, why the subplot doesn't make any sense. Um, it it works in with this film because that's the point. Is like I said, he makes not always the wise or best decisions, and then it costs him later. And he's still fallible. He's still mortal. And then when you take away the power, and he's left being human again, which is a good third act, you know, problem. That raises the tension. Lucy doesn't lose the power; she keeps ratcheting it up. So you lose that tension on her. That's why you have to bring in the Yakuza, like I said. So when Limitless has when Eddie has the power, then loses it, it becomes a personal problem, not a theatrical problem or a thematrical problem. It becomes back to a personal problem because it's something he has to deal with and figure a way out when he's back to being an idiot again. To lesser extent, basically like, what it means to be Eddie baseline. Anyway, so I recommend Limitless over Lucy. Not that Lucy doesn't have its poignant moments, it's just that it's so hammered home. It could be if treated better. It might be a better film. But it's just so hard to like something that just, waggles its finger at you. It's like, "It's like, I'm telling you." It's like yes, we get it. We already knew that. Having you tell us doesn't make us smarter, it just agitates you. You know, like it's a needless lecture for something you already know. It's like everyone already knows that. But there are still adults out there that believe we still need to lecture that. It's like I know that. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. Not I can't think of anything else. I don't think I need to acting. I think Scarlett Johansson works better in this thematically for her wooden and stilted acting that I am told about. I haven't really seen, but I could see her stilted acting here if it is working well for her because she's kind of losing her humanity, so therefore it makes sense. Eddie Morrows becomes more, like I said, um, a showman. You know, he becomes confident. People like him. He's engaging. He doesn't go over people's heads. That's the thing. As smart as he is, he stays with you. You know, he stays on people's levels, and he tells it them in humorous, uh, personal ways. Like he tells them about overextending. He tells that in ways people know stuff about basic history. Right? He explains it in a way you can relate to. So he doesn't go, oh, clearly I'm smarter than you, because he doesn't talk over your head. He doesn't use things to go over your head. You know, so he doesn't do that. He says things purposefully in a way that is engaged with you. As smart as he is, he talks down to your level, but not to you, but he's at your level. He speaks to you in his level. He associates with you on your level. He has he expresses insight than quantum mechanics and numbers and everything. But when he does say stuff that goes over most people's heads, he says, "Yeah, but that's all the sciencey stuff." And when I did that, it didn't garner any real results. That's what I learned from that. That I did all that, hard work, sciencey stuff. So I did what anyone else do. I went to the rumor mill. I went to, the social circle. All the rumor mill. And he says because reality isn't governed on what actually is. It's governed on the perception of reality. That's from Sneakers, by the way. That's where he got the defense contractors information to make that deal. So Eddie Morrow's acting is very good as regular Eddie and then super smart Eddie. Um, Again, film and cinematography is good. It doesn't have to rely on you know action hero action in order to be interesting. It just stays on basic action to be engaging because the threat is always there. You know that can you keep this crazy train going? As opposed to her, it reaches like light speed by the end of this thing. It's like, was there any really doubt it was going to get to this point? No. As opposed to in Limitless, it's like as smart as you are, and we're going full speed. You know, the whole since the train starts, we get up to speed and then we stay at speed. There is always the question of, oh wait, are we going to fall back? And yeah, it does. It does fall back, and that's the point. It keeps the tension going, not ratcheting it up, but going and always occasionally coming back because people are people. People make mistakes. And that's why I love Limitless over Lucy. Okay, so I guess we'll just end it here. Um, yes, so that's about it. I hope this made sense. If I don't make sense, just watch Limitless and then watch Lucy, and you'll see. Watch these two films back to back, one way or the other, and then see for yourself not only the narrative but thematical difference. One will talk to you, the other one will talk down to you. Is basically the difference. And one will try, over the top action flicks to keep your attention as opposed to just keeping the action. Just watch them. You'll understand. So yeah, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the drive-ins. Bye.